Every year with CES is a bit different for us. With Chromebooks, you just never know what companies are going to actually bring to the show. And for HP specifically, as long as we've been attending CES, in person or virtually as we did last year and like we're doing again this year, they've never really had much of a presence there. And even when they did, their Chromebook offerings were always just kind of minimal. Well, that's absolutely not the case this year, as HP has started off 2022 with a bang in the Chromebook space by debuting the brand new HP Elite Dragonfly Chromebook as part of CES 2022. This device is quite literally the answer to so many requests we've had over the years for high-end Chromebooks, and my initial impressions of it are so good that I foresee it being the Chromebook to beat in 2022. Already. Let's get into it and see why. So first off, we have to talk about the specs and features going on in this Chromebook, because there are a bunch. Starting with the outside, HP has put together a gorgeous looking device made from this aluminum magnesium alloy, and it feels sturdy and it looks really sweet. Little details like the chamfered edges on the hinges are a nice aesthetic touch, and the chassis is basically the same size and feel as the Elite C1030 from 2020, but it's refined and just more elegant all around. And speaking of those hinges, this is a convertible that does all the standard modes we're used to at this point, but HP made sure to include the magnets in all the right places, keeping things tightly closed when it's shut in clamshell mode, or when it's converted into a tablet, keeping it from flopping around. And that's just this ongoing theme here that you're going to hear. HP seems to have thought of everything and poured it into this Chromebook. Once you open it up, we have a 3x2 13.5 inch display that is probably my favorite size and aspect ratio combo on a Chromebook. The Elite C1030 and all the Acer Chromebook Spin 713s have used it, and it's the perfect balance of mobility and productivity. HP even heard our cries about the lower resolution on the Elite C1030 and gave us an option for the same 2256 by 1504 resolution that I have loved on all the Spin 713s over the years. And they kept everything at 400 nits across the board. And they'll ship models with 1000 nit screens that have the company's SureView Reflect privacy shield as well. Okay, so build is great, color's great, screen's great, but it doesn't stop there, not even close. HP has once again nailed the keyboard, making the keys a little larger than what we have on the current C1030, and with their darker color, it eliminates the issue where those gray keys and the backlight makes the characters on the keys hard to see. Oh, and they added a universal mute key up in the function row, so you can be certain your calls, video calls, anything, it's all muted whenever you need it to be. And there's a fingerprint scanner right beneath the keyboard, right where you'd expect it, right where, honestly, it should be. And speaking of video calls, HP opted for a much better webcam in the Elite Dragonfly that bumps things up from the crappy 720p resolutions we normally get on Chromebooks all the way up to 5 megapixels. And while that isn't astounding all by itself, the fact is HP is tuning this camera for better skin tones and exposures that eliminate glare and blown out shots. It's just a welcome sight in the Chrome OS world. From what we can tell so far, that tuning is working, and HP says it'll only get better as this Chromebook gets closer to release. As there should be, there's a privacy shutter right there at the top of the webcam for easily shutting off the camera when you need it. As another addition to the video calling capabilities of this Chromebook, HP's finally delivered a set of speakers that are not bad. Actually, they sound great, with a quad speaker setup that has 2 drivers above the keyboard and then 2 right on the front side of the device that are kind of pointing out at you. This thing has great volume, has rich tones, and a nice low end. Clearly, HP wanted to make this thing great for video calls, and I think they're achieving that with this solid camera and much improved speakers together. As another fun addition, they put the dual mic array right up on the top of the lid, so the mic actually picks up 360 degrees of sound, not just from right in front of the device. As a world's first, HP has also opted to include a haptic trackpad on the Elite Dragonfly, and I just love this so much. If you're not familiar, haptic trackpads are used by Apple in their MacBooks and in the Magic Trackpad 2, and they create this sense of a click without actually having any moving parts. It does honestly feel a bit magic the first time you use it, and I'm glad to see it coming to a Chromebook finally. It takes away the chance that this device was going to ever ship with some misaligned or floppy trackpad, and it just ensures that everyone gets the same overall experience when using this really excellent Chromebook. Oh, and it lets you click on the trackpad at any surface at any point, top to bottom, left or right, anywhere. They all register a normal click. And I sincerely hope this part becomes a standard thing on nicer Chromebooks moving forward, but regardless, I am super happy to see it arrive on the Dragonfly. Under the hood, this one is honestly a monster, utilizing Intel's latest 12th gen Alder Lake chips. It has up to 32 gigs of RAM and up to 512 gigs of NVMe storage. Let's put it simply, it's going to be very, very fast. And to offset all that power, the fans in the Elite Dragonfly are actually tuned to be very quiet as they keep things cool enough to run at full speed for long periods. So with those internals, you also get Wi-Fi 6E for speedy network connections, and there's going to be an option for 5G connectivity as well. As far as the ports go, we also get a great selection of those too, with 2 USB Type-C ports here with Thunderbolt 4, along with a USB Type-A, micro SD card slot, headphone microphone jack, and a full-size HDMI port. The charging happens fast with those USB-C ports too, and it gives you 90% in like 90 minutes or so. All told, you'll likely be able to just leave all the dongles in the bag, connect whatever you need, and be up and running without additional cables and all that other stuff. Finally, this device comes with a new color match stylus from HP that looks a lot like what we saw with the X211 tablet, and it keeps the same magnetically attaching wireless charging tricks that pen has. Again, I really feel like HP just thought of everything with this Chromebook. And it looks like $999 will be the starting price on this one, and we're expecting availability at some point in Q2. As I've said throughout this video, HP really just kind of took everything that could go in a Chromebook and just poured it all in, and I can't wait to see it in its final form later in 2022. The pre-production unit we have is already really amazing, and I know things will just be further tuned up before that release. You know, with most Chromebooks, there are always a few things that just feel like a compromise, and with this HP Elite Dragonfly, I just don't think that's going to be the case. Now, unless this ships with some unforeseen fatal flaw, it's probably going to arrive later this year as the best overall Chromebook ever made, and that's a really, really fun way to start off 2022. But guys, that's it for this one. If you enjoy this video, give us a thumbs up, head down there and hit that subscribe button, and be sure to ring the notification icon as well if you'd like to be alerted when we make future videos just like this one. Until next time, we'll see you.